Alright, what's up everyone? This is Spooky. Now, I noticed a lot of you looking for advice on modern input devices to trial for PlayStation 5, especially with PS5 fighting games like Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6 being a part of most of the FGC circuits and EVO, Esports World Cup, Tekken World Tour, all the big stuff. Anyway, Haute sent over to me their new B16 Leverless, which is done in a keyboard style. This is going right now for less than $50 on Amazon, which is crazy, and they also have other versions you can check out if you want the Leverless button experience. But I wanted to know personally, what do you get out of a $50 leverless stick or a $50 leverless device? And I wanted to know if this is good enough for you, whether you're using it as a casual player, which is what I wanted it for, or whether you're going to use it to compete in tournament. If you prefer the keyboard style stick, is this $50 stick good enough for you as a PS5 competitor? I'm immediately pleased by how small and professional looking the B16 is. It has a no-nonsense matte design, and there are some extra accessories, including a switch puller, an extra switch, a couple of extra 6mm button caps, and 6 rubber feet for the bottom. The B16 has hardcore customization thanks to the usage of GP2040, an open source gamepad firmware that combines multi-platform support, low latency, and a rich feature set. You can customize the platforms to play on, remap the buttons with profile support, customize the LEDs, and much more. The LEDs are a nice touch, especially at this price point, and they look quite good combined with the customization options. Latency is extremely low on all platforms. Here's a chart for GP2040's latest firmware as of this video, and as you can see, it's as good as it gets, being under 1.3 milliseconds of latency on most platforms. Confident in the latency, I decided to throw as many platforms at this thing as possible. First is Melty Blood type Lumina on PS5 and PS4 mode. I found that by using the PS4 mode combined with the upload key file option, I could get anything PS4 related as well as PlayStation 4 on PS5 to work perfectly. There's no lag, no timeout, and no problems. Now, with PS5, I have a bit of bad news, which is that unfortunately, you're going to need a little bit of extra hardware to make this work out of the box on PS5. So you can't just plug this in and make it work. The GP2040 software requires some type of pass-through device to basically authenticate to this for you. And there is an authentication port, like right here. You can kind of see it if you look real close. So there's a spot you can plug in USB. But if you're thinking like I was thinking, you're trying to be slick and just plug in your DualSense for PlayStation 5 or your DualShock 4 for PlayStation 4, unfortunately, I'm sorry, these are not supported. So you can't just plug in a pad into this and have it work that way. I wish you could, because that would make this so simple and then anybody could use this. But unfortunately, you need a PlayStation 4, I think a third-party device. I'm not sure if the Hori pads work. The only thing I had that worked was this old PlayStation 4 Quamba Obsidian stick, which I'm not even using anymore because I'm on the Obsidian 2 now. And that was the only thing I could get to work. And I think that kind of defeats the purpose. You know, you want this thing to be small and portable. You don't want to be bringing around a big extra stick or like an extra pad or something like that. The good news is that there is a solution. If you use this Magic Boots PS4 converter, you can get this to work on PS5 without issues. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense because you're using a PS4 dongle to authenticate to PS5, but trust me on this, it does work. However, this adds an extra cost because now you have to pay another $34 if you want this thing to work natively on PS5. Now, once you have a dongle or another way to authenticate, this works great. You can play all PlayStation 5 games natively, and you even have 2 remappable extra buttons to make everything fit your personal style, making this a great portable solution for almost any platform that has a USB port. Now, the Haute B16 claims compatibility with MisterFPGA, an open source project for playing classic console and arcade games. This is the main reason I wanted one, so I threw a few classic console games at it immediately. First was Rocket Knight Adventures for Genesis. Not only was it extremely fun to play this way, but I found that having an extra button for up at my left thumb was very useful for accurate upwards and diagonal rocket boosts. The Mister project works with almost anything, so I was not really that surprised to see the support and compatibility. However, the low latency and ability to play on keyboard-style microswitches really adds a new element to some of my favorite old-school games, and I'm excited to be able to play through them all with the Haute B16. Alright guys, so this is kind of my off-the-cuff final verdict on this thing and what I think about it overall. So overall, for $50, this is phenomenal. When I first bought my first arcade stick, okay, it was a $250 used from somebody. It was a mod stick. It only worked on like Dreamcast, and that was it. This thing has amazing compatibility out of the box of $50. PS4 will work if you set it up with the DualShock keys. It'll work on PC, great. It'll work on your Mister. It also works on some of the mini consoles too. So like if you got an NES Mini with the USB ports, this will actually work on that, which is crazy. Now the only thing that sucks, is that it does not work with PS5 out of the box unless you buy the little Mayfash converter that I talked about. I'll give you a link to that in the description, or if you buy like a Brook Wingman or something like that to make it work. So it doesn't work out of the box with PS5. That's my only beef and my only gripe with this. But considering that you can get a converter for around $34, that means that this for $50 plus $34 means that for $90 you can have a working stick solution that works in tournament on PC, on PlayStation 5, on PlayStation 4, on whatever else you're gonna play on Mister. I know that there's some Mister tournaments out there sometimes. This will work on all that stuff, which is actually really amazing. Now I do have a final recommendation, which is that if you don't want this specific one, the B16, which I like this one because of the keyboard style micro switches. If you're going to get one of the Leverless style ones, try to get one that has the screen built in, because that little screen, especially if you're going to play on PlayStation 5, that little screen is going to give you a little bit of extra information to make sure that everything is working right the way it's supposed to. With this, for me to test everything on PS5, I had to wait and see if the 8-minute timeout was going to happen or not, and then finally when the 8-minute timeout was gone, I knew I did everything correctly. But if you have that little screen, it's going to tell you PS5, okay, or something like that. It's going to tell you the authentication is okay on the screen, and it's going to make it easier for you. Anyway, let me know what you guys think, or if you guys have one of these Haute boards, whether it's this one that I have here, the new B16, or you've got the S13, the S16, or the M16, one of the other ones. Let me know if you have it and what you think about it, and let me know if you have any questions. I'll put links to everything in the description for this bad boy, and please check it out. Thank you one more time to Wang from Haute for sending it over to me to try it out, and I hope you guys like it. Have a beautiful day, everybody. See you in the streets.